Hi guys, this is Arvin with GameTextures.com, and today we're extremely excited about the launch of Substance Source. In light of that, we want to talk about this tool that we use internally but have decided to release publicly, so you guys can have a tool to blend these materials together. So what I have right now is a material from the GameTextures website. This one I particularly worked on. It's a muddy ground with some rocks on top, and this one is from RDT. It's a scanned gravel ground. So, and this is the node that we're releasing to the public. It's a material blend node, and what it does is it balances the blending between two materials based on their height maps. What I'm going to do is plug this muddy ground into the background and this pebble into the foreground. And what you'll notice right off the bat is that they blend and stack together. Let's go ahead and pop this open and make a little bit of some balancing here. So I'm going to go ahead and just reset these to some of the default values. And what we're going to look at initially is just the foreground. Notice we'll have three different sections. We have a background, foreground, and a normal map. We're going to first look at the foreground. Our foreground is going to deal with this top material, this material from RDT that you can get on Substance Source. So we'll pop open the foreground, and what you can see is here we can adjust the balancing. So as we drag this height value up, more of this rock, this gravel will show up. As we drag it down, less of it will show up, right? So we're adjusting that balancing. Now, so as we drag this all the way up, it's almost completely covering our muddy ground. So this should be typically enough to get the type of balance you want, but sometimes even at GameTextures.com, we just can't get the balance that we're looking for with just that one control. So we added a second control here that balances the low value out. So you could crunch it where you get this specific range and get exactly the type of balance that you're looking for. The other thing we wanted to add is a control for HSL. Now all of our materials by default will have HSL controls. However, not all of them do. For example, this one from RDT, it's a scan-based texture. It doesn't have those type of controls. So what we added here is just a simple HSL control where you can, darken the color a little bit and, maybe desaturate it or saturate it as much as you need. The next thing we have is tiling. So sometimes, the material comes in and it's really, I need to quit spinning this. Somebody commented that I spun my viewport too much. But we have this tiling control, and you can basically drag it to increase the tiling of the material, right, to where you get really small pebbles, or you can decrease it. For this particular one, I think I like it at tiling level 2. Right, so we've got this kind of muddy ground with some tiny gravel rocks around it. I think I'm going to darken it just a hair more. Cool. All right, so what else do we have? We also have controls here, the same for the background. And so we can, like I said, just for extra tweaking, extra balancing, so you can specifically get the results that you're looking for as far as the balance between the background and foreground. And also it has a tiling option. But for this one, I think I'm going to keep it at 1. All right, so the next thing we have is a normal map control here. So it actually generates a normal map based on the blending of the height maps. Sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want the normal map to just take both of the normal maps and blend them according to a mask. So you can just click this and it'll switch it to a normal map blend. For this particular material, it didn't make too much of a difference. In fact, I think it kind of looks better like this, but most of the time you're going to want to use a height blended normal map. I'm going to tweak this a little bit, maybe soften it here. And also there's, of course, a normal format control. Here we have a control over the mask. So as we drag this, tightens up that mask and really makes it crisp to go around each of those rocks. This would give it a very strict difference between the foreground material or the foreground color and the background color. For this one, we don't really want that. Remember, this is mud, so we want it to kind of creep into these rocks a little bit. So we're going to drag this down. And notice the normal maps are staying the same, but some of the mask is creeping in so that it looks like some of these rocks are covered in mud. This material or this node is still in a bit of a alpha or beta, so we're going to add more controls here. Please let us know if you have any inputs. But also, I think one of the things I can see right now is I want to put an opacity slider and maybe a noise slider here on this these mask options. And also I think I want to add a control for roughness, but that should come down to pipeline. All right, so here's another material height blend, and here's another material from the GameTexture site. This one is a kind of dry mud, right? So we'll plug this into the background. That's already plugged into the foreground, and we'll take all of these connections and move them there. And so you'll notice again it stacks, right? And we can come in here and tweak our balancing. So let's go ahead and I want to darken this rock maybe a little bit more. And so what I'm going to do is maybe come in here and adjust the entire lightness of the background. But also what I can see is there's a very distinct difference between this background color and this foreground color. So I'm going to balance it out by also just turn pink, decreasing the lightness of the foreground. Right? So there we've got a better balance in my opinion. Right? And maybe decrease the saturation, maybe increase actually saturation just a hair. Pretty good. All right, kind of like that. And lastly, we're going to mix it with one more material. This one is a rainforest ground, also from GameTextures.com. And so we'll take this, plug this in here, and plug this into the background material. And what you can see is that we have this rainforest ground that's popping up. Let's go ahead and increase the levels on that just a little bit. So we'll take our foreground levels and just bring in a little bit more. And so notice some of those grass and some of those leaves are coming through. The other thing that this takes advantage of is if you have, a material with some controls, such as this one that you'd get from GameTextures, you could actually change some of the settings there. For example, let's say I wanted to change the color of the wood chips to lighter color. And it'll actually show up. Now it's kind of hard to see here because of all the, we don't have a very strict mask. Here we'll do a strict mask for just a second, just to show it off. And for example, let's say we want some of the grass to be masked out. We could just increase this mask random. And notice some of that grass is disappearing, right? We can also adjust it to show less grass in general, right? And basically pop up more of the, notice there's more of the gravel showing through now. Maybe we want more twigs. Maybe we want bigger twigs. And maybe we want less small leaves. go. And then maybe for the small leaves, we want them to be a little more dead. And there we go. You know, we can come back in here now and finalize some of our balancing. Sorry, levels a little bit. Maybe crunch this. There we go. Go get a little bit more of those leaves out, and tighten up this mask just a hair. All right, so now we've got those leaves kind of showing through. And here's our completely new material based on mixing and matching materials from both Game Textures and Substance Source and whatever else. Maybe you have a custom material that you built. Maybe you want to add, you know, something like a, you know, these tiles, right? Now these are the default ones from Algorithmic, but you know, you can basically take this, plug them in, plug this into the background, plug this into the foreground, and adjust your balance. And ta-da, you've got, you know, materials mixing through. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this is useful. Again, we'll be releasing this tool probably today or tomorrow. So hopefully we get this into your hands. We'd love to see what you come up with. So keep track of us on Twitter. Please hit us up. If you make something cool, please post it there. Show us on ArtStation. We'd love to see it. Thanks, guys. Also, any suggestions, just shoot it out to our Twitter page or on GameTextures.com. We have a way for you guys a chat box there that you can get a hold of us through. Thanks so much. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you soon.